This is a Pocket Pinups card pack. It's an informal history of the 50s pinup magazine by Max Allan Collins. I bought it the other day when I was looking for some collectible Barbies, and I stumbled upon a section that was completely about this subject right here, and I couldn't resist because I love pinups. So hi everyone, I'm Ward, and welcome to my channel Wardrawsalot, and this is going to be a series where I take these pocket pinups and make them a little different. Before I show you what I mean by different, first let's take a look at the cards themselves. So this is a series where there are 3 different packs, and each of them come with 36 cards. As you can see, there's a model on each and every card, but all of these models look relatively the same. The only difference is the hair color, eye color, and that's about it. So I want to try and take these models and draw them with different body shapes, different sizes. Each card has the model on the front with their respective description on the back. Now, the descriptions, definitely you could see where it says the informal history of them, because it definitely is giving that when you're reading it. Now, as I was scrolling through the card pack, 2 cards really stood out to me and they were just calling my name. And I looked at them both and I was like, I wonder how it would look like if I took these pinup girl poses and made them fat. And that's exactly what I did. So I took this card with Maria Stinger on it, and then created my own version, which is this very plush woman, in the same outfit, in the same pose, sitting in the exact same spot where she is. One thing I genuinely do believe with, like, all of my heart, is if we're going to be doing pinups, it should be of all shapes, and all sizes, and all colors. Of course, these cards were from the 1950s, so their outlook was extremely narrow, but not no more. So that's why I decided to take these cards and change them up the way I thought they should be changed up, including different types of beauty. Now, that doesn't mean I think something is wrong with the original cards. I love the original cards. They're beautiful, especially because, like I said, all shape sizes, beautiful. I think that those ladies would be happy to see someone drawing women of plus size stature now, and in those poses, and being more accepted throughout, normal societal terms. Now, let me state the obvious, okay? These card pack, pictures were from the 1950s, it's now 2023. So there's a very large gap in years as to, what was done in the industry to move forward along with these standards and terms and all this stuff. So there's obviously plus-size pinup girls, and obviously multiracial, and all of this wonderful stuff. So this isn't groundbreaking for me. This is just something that I wanted to take and transform into something different because I thought it would be fun to do. Now, with that being said, I really want to take the card and read it off to you guys and show you the description and what's on it. So this card is after Maria Stinger off of People Today's magazines. It says on the card, "Are American Men Physical Weaklings?" The magazine itself was printed May 16th, 1956, and sold for 15 cents. I think that goes crazy. It says exclusive photos from the private album of Sammy Davis Jr. So apparently he took this photo of Maria Stinger, and it's part of his private collection. So let's read the back of this card description. So it says Pocket Pinups, People Today, May 16th, 1956. The model is Maria Stinger, and her classification, so they would classify these pinup models. Hers is Marilyn Monroe wannabe. Maria Stinger is unique among Marilyn Monroe imitators, a figure model with no apparent aspirations to movie stardom who capitalized on a resemblance to Marilyn to carve out a cheesecake career in men's mags. Most of the lower-tiered Marilyn Monroe wannabes were strippers, but not Stinger. She was the mother of 3, married to a painting contractor who apparently enjoyed having his wife known as Miami's Marilyn Monroe. With legendary Bunny Yeager, the pinup model turned photographer, Stinger authored Guide for the Amateur Photographer's Model, 1963. Like Betty Page, Stinger was a part of Bunny Miami's stable of models. Bro, can we talk about how they said stable? Like they fucking horses? That's crazy, hello? With several other Yeager models, but not BP. I have no idea who BP is, by the way. Stinger did appear in at least one film. The Irving Klaw-produced Girls Come To in 1963, also known as How I Became a Nudist, looking sadly fleshly and long in the tooth. But in her heyday, Stinger looked wonderful, as attests the People Today cover by Sammy Davis Jr. According to Randall Reese and Neil Hitchens, the unabridged Marilyn, Maria Stinger, committed suicide at age 36, emulating Marilyn one last time via pill overdose. Yo, this is the first time I read the card, what the fuck? I skimmed through some cards, but I purposefully avoided the ones that I was gonna do for this video, just so I could have like a reaction to them, and that was definitely a reaction. Well, may she rest in peace, and wherever she is, I hope she likes the fact that I drew her pose as a fat chick. Speaking of which, let's talk about the drawing for a second. So what I did was I took this pose, and I decided to make a plush woman who is more on the voluptuous side, right? Because there's two different types of fat, I feel. There is the attractive fat, which is kind of what she's got going on. By attractive fat, I mean, you know, the bigger booba, the bigger butt, bigger thighs. It looks like appealing to the societal standard of what attractive is, right? And then there's unattractive fat, which is what I draw on the second character, and you'll see that soon. So what I did with this character is I definitely played up on the fact that she has this attractive fat by using that swimsuit to the advantage to show her chest off, along with the side of her body, which isn't conventionally attractive because, you know, nobody likes back fat, even though it's like, who gives a shit? I also used the opportunity to show off these larger legs, and of course the pose is changed just a little bit. She can't squeeze in her legs as tight because she does have a stomach in her way, so it changes the pose. The next pinup girl pose that we're making plus size is this one with Terry Moore on it, and this is the drawing that I ended up coming up with, and let me tell you, this is probably some of the best anatomy I've done my entire life. This time I'm actually very proud of how this one came out. She looks very, like, correct, and I'm very happy with it. And on top of that, I colored her really well, and you'll see that later on. I think I did a pretty good job with her. It's very hard to choose a favorite between the two of these girls. Now, just like the previous girl, we're going to be reading the card for this one as well. So this one is from News Tempo and Quick. I don't know if that's like a little extra thing that they put in there, but yeah. The headline above the title is Senate's Startling Report on Teenage Crime. So this was issued April 4th, 1955, and again was 15 cents. On the bottom it says, The Girl in the Ermine Bikini, Terry Moore. Okay, on the back of the card it says Tempo and Quick, so I guess that's the actual name of the magazine. States the date again, and the model again, Terry Moore. Her classification this time is Starlet. Terry Moore's charm was her limitation. Damn, her charm was her limitation? Shit. Her beaming, wholesome demeanor, heightened by short 50s hairstyles, seemed at odds with her bosomy figure. I know a man wrote this, bro. Child star Helen Coford, born 1929, acted under her own name as well as several stage ones before settling on Terry Moore. Son of Lassie, 1945, led to a succession of animal films for the girl, capped by a role playing Fay Rye to Kong-like Mighty Joe Young, 1949. Her adult film career included the Fun George, Pal Fantasy, The Great Rupert, 1950, and Come Back Little Sheba, 1952, for which she was Oscar-nominated Best Supporting Actress, but she never really clicked. She's remembered fondly for B-westerns and as a sex tease waitress in the campy Red Menace flick Shack Out on 101 in 1955. In recent years, she emerged with an ageless Playboy pictorial and claims of marriage to her well-publicized paramour, eccentric billionaire Howard Hughes. So in comparison to the other card, I think this one was a little bit more tame and kind of just described her life a little more, on top of that with some descriptory words about her body. I do genuinely want to say that both of these ladies were extremely gorgeous, and looking up on obviously Google Images more of their pinups and just how they looked and everything, of course they were popular, like they were just super pretty. On top of that, they probably had so much more to them than just that beauty, but again, 1950s, the asset of a woman is sadly her beauty. So it's different now, at least, thankfully. At least I hope with some people. Maybe not everybody thinks like that, but I think that there's more than just that lens of being pretty. So how did I translate this pose onto the paper? I really wanted to play up on the idea of quote-unquote unattractive fat, because like I said before, the attractive fat is the very voluptuous, larger breasts, larger butt, all that kind of stuff, bigger thighs, the very hourglass figure, right, that we've come to know as what voluptuous is, versus the unattractive fat, which is somebody who is a bigger body, but has a smaller chest, a smaller butt, and is primarily just round in the stomach. And I really wanted to make sure that I portrayed both kinds of fat. Reason being is because for some reason fat is only acceptable when it's attractive, and I don't play that. I don't like that idea. So that's why I made sure to truly do this beautiful pose and how she looks, and honestly super gorgeous, even though she does have this big round belly, along with the smaller assets instead of the larger ones. Now, I was kind of torn when it came to lining, right? Because all of these pinups look very, very soft, except for obviously the few exceptions that had like very pops of color. But for the most part, even when drawn, pinups are depicted very soft, very more on the realistic side, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do that or if I just want to line them. And the thing is with me is I like lining, so since it is going to be like pinup girls in my style, why not do the lining? I thought of maybe going in with color pencil to like soften the look up, but I genuinely wasn't feeling it this time. I felt like if I was going to go ahead and take these girls and draw them in my style and make them the size that I want and basically change them up the way I want, I decided to just let the shading do the talking for me. Color pencils are good for when I feel like doing texture on drawings and stuff like that, but this time I wasn't feeling it. Maybe next time I can experiment with the softer look and outline with color pencils and then shade with them, but I really just kind of wanted to color them in with the markers and just let that speak for itself in the piece this time. Another thing that I wanted to mention was when it came to the looks that I gave them, I wanted to stay in the 1950s range just because I personally think it looks really cute, this whole vintage look altogether. I didn't want to necessarily modernize them when it came to makeup and looks because I just felt like it would be fitting of the entire scene and it would be more close to the depiction that I wanted to follow. So I did look up different like 1950s hairstyles for both white women and women of color, because obviously there's different hair textures and it's going to look different and they're going to style it differently between each other. So for the girl on the left, I went with a more redhead, downward I can't even say the word, downward curls look, while the girl on the right is a much more closely knit together kind of curls, and I will have pictures up obviously of what they kind of look like in reference to what I was doing. I tried to do the backgrounds as like loosely but as closely as possible, and honestly I love both of them so much. I think that they both came out super cute and I can't wait to do this again. Between the two of them, I really can't pick a favorite, but the one on the right, the one standing with the red swimsuit, is just drawn so nicely that I can't help but put my eye towards her a little bit. And honestly, this was awesome. I love this idea and I can't wait to do more. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember I love you. Bye.